isn't it so unfortunate though? Just a quick remark that people demonize what they don't understand. I think some stuff like that happens, and I think it's unfortunate. Although it makes sense, right? Yeah, and again, I'll stress that if you are then connecting with someone who isn't on the same page as you are, you need to be as open and willing to embrace the differences that stand between you two without demonizing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something?
You know, I think, you know, there's a certain level where we need to weigh an understanding that I think all of us can get to agree with whatever we believe in, right? But I think when some people demonize certain things, I think it should be socially acceptable, because it's like, what's going on over there? Like what happened in Kenya, where 70-something people committed, involuntary, we can call it that, suicide, when they starved themselves because they were believing that the men of God were saying, in order to meet your Messiah or Savior, you have to fast or starve yourself. Yeah. And, you know, from the outside looking in, I mean, you cannot blame people for demonizing such actions, because, okay, yes, you are a man of God and you want your followers to get certain results, but some of these things we need to really consciously ask ourselves, like, is this...
Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights.
Exactly. Yeah. And that will be the basis on which people are basing that on. So I think it even goes to my next question, which is
But he didn't die, though.
Well, because he's Jesus. Because it goes to my next question, which is about the PR of certain religions. So, for example, you already touched on it in terms of, like, if you're Jewish and, like, if you're Muslim or if you're Christian, the connotations for that are very different to, like, if you practice African traditional religion, etc. Because how people view you is very different. To me, it goes down to the people that have had the power of messaging over time and have been able to build their narrative the best, and it's the PR of religion. That's what I call it. Yeah. So, for example, when you're speaking about, these people who were actually what some would say is a cult, but because it's somewhat aligned with Christianity, people will be averse to calling it that, because Christianity has such strong PR. And I wondered to myself, why do we have these perceptions of certain religions, of cults, or like as if a cult is a bad thing? Like, we know kind of a cult is a bad... I know it's a hot take. We know kind of that a cult is a bad thing, but what's the difference between a cult and a church, really?
Let me can I say this? So I want to say this, and because I've seen it happen a lot in recent times, where there's a thing where if you're talking about something or someone, right? But let's keep it at something. That thing can be independent in its nature, its meaning, and what it stands for and represents, and what its use can be, right? So, like, and I mean, this is a bit of a tangent, but it's still related. In how the other day we were talking about music, right? And someone effectively demonized a genre. And I was like, wait, if you define what a genre is, a genre in itself can't necessarily be bad or evil, right? It's just a vehicle that carries particular messaging that can be good or bad, right? And so, like, within, if we say, like, with what we're talking about now, right? If people, like I said, religion is a system, right? It's a way of thinking, it's a way of life. It's then the messaging in it that can be questioned, right? And so, like, with Christianity, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Muslim religion or ATR, as you guys mentioned, it in itself isn't bad, I would say. It's what it purports that can be good or bad, right? So from my understanding and purview, Christianity has values that are appealing and useful and edifying for me. That's why I subscribe to it. Otherwise, if it wasn't the case, I would have picked another religion. Right. Do you get what I'm saying? But to say Christianity in itself is then whatever. Yeah. So just something just to.
But where do we draw the line?
So which is pretty much where I was going to go as well. So when we talk about Christianity and Islam or whatever, right? Like we're bunching Christianity together, which is essentially so many different things. It's actually essentially where the cults are inside Christianity, right? So it's not Christianity or cults. It's like the cult in Christianity. And again, for me, it's where are you going to say that someone is now being irrational? If I'm going to religion, and my reason for religion is, one, I'm looking for the guidance on how to be a better person, right? If that cult is giving that to me, then is it really a bad thing? The second thing is I'm looking for peace, right? I want to know that if I pray, I am being heard. If there's someone who can make me believe that this is the specific way that you're going to be listened to, pound for pound, that person's happier on a day-to-day basis than we are on the outside. So like just going back to the licking of floors, if I lick, if I lick a floor today and it's going to make me feel more optimistic about my life,
you'll lick them every day.
Then it's
then
worse.
why am I not licking floors?